Welcome to the Explainer. Look, today we're taking all that hype, all that mystery surrounding artificial intelligence, and we're just distilling it down to what it actually is, a purely practical, powerful toolkit for engineers. If you're building software right now, you absolutely need to understand the mechanics under the hood of these systems. Let's get into it.
Think about it for a second. You already know how to code, right? You design architectures, you deploy databases, but building with AI, that requires understanding a completely new assembly line of concepts. It's literally an entirely new layer in your tech stack. And to communicate effectively with your team and actually ship these features, you've got to master this new vocabulary.
Okay, let's dive into this blueprint. We'll start in the AI engine room, move on to customizing your AI, adding context and tools, autonomous AI agents, and finally, optimizing for production.
Section 1, the AI engine room. We're starting right at the foundation, the atomic level, where raw input first collides with the AI models.
So, before an AI can even process a sentence, it has to break it apart. And it doesn't just slice words at the spacebar. I mean, humans don't communicate like that, right? We use suffixes like ing for actions, or ers in words like shimmers or flickers. Tokenization is just the process of snapping input text into these discrete, meaningful chunks so the AI can actually start grasping human language rules. For us engineers, tokens are absolutely crucial because, well, this is exactly how your API costs and context limits are calculated. You're paying by the token, not by the word.
Now, if tokens tell a model what to look at, vectors represent the actual meaning of those tokens. Vectorization maps every single word into coordinates within a massive n-dimensional mathematical space. It's wild. Words with similar meanings, they're clustered close together in this space. Opposites are shoved far apart. It's exactly this geometric proximity that gives the model its inherent understanding of the entire English vocabulary.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive breakthrough concept we call attention. Take the word apple. It could be a fruit or, a massive tech company. Since they share the exact same spelling, the model has to look at nearby contextual vectors. If you input tasty apple, the attention mechanism mathematically pushes that vector toward bananas and guavas. But if you say apple revenue, boom, it's pushed toward Microsoft and Google. Attention is what allows the model to disambiguate identical tokens just based on their surrounding context.
A lot of people mix these terms up, so let's separate them out clearly. Think of a large language model, the LLM, as the final product, the actual car you drive off the lot, whose sole job is to predict the next token. The transformer? That's the engine. It's the specific attention-based algorithm under the hood processing those inputs layer by layer. And self-supervised learning is the fuel. Instead of humans manually tagging data, the model trains by basically hiding parts of internet text and trying to predict the blanks. When it messes up, it updates its internal weights. It's a massively, massively scalable approach.
Moving on to Section 2, customizing your AI. Now that we've got a generalized engine running, how do we steer this thing to do exactly what we need?
Let's say you're building a healthcare app. You definitely don't want a generalized chatbot. You need a domain expert that actually understands clinical diagnoses. So how exactly do you make an AI speak fluent medical jargon?
Well, you achieve this through fine-tuning. You take your base, self-supervised model and you feed it a series of highly specific questions and expected answers. If the model responds vaguely or just says, "I don't know," it gets penalized. This process forces the model to update its internal neural weights so it consistently generates that exact medical jargon you need. You're fundamentally and permanently shaping the model's weights. It makes it incredibly accurate for specific tasks, though fair warning, it does require some serious computational horsepower to pull off.
All right, Section 3, adding context and tools. Because sometimes, as an engineer, you don't actually want to rebuild the engine or permanently alter its weights. You just need to hand it the right instruction manuals exactly when it needs them. And that brings us to Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG. At runtime, when a user asks something like, "Hey, why is my refund delayed?" your server doesn't just blind fire that query to the LLM. First, it searches your company's vector database for your specific refund policy documents. It retrieves those docs, augments the user's query with this fresh proprietary context, and then asks the LLM for a response. Unlike fine-tuning, RAG lets you update your company docs instantly without retraining the whole underlying model. It's a huge saver of both time and money. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. While RAG is great for static text, MCP allows your AI to become fully active. It acts as a secure wrapper, so your AI can hook into external servers, like, say, an airline database. grab real-time flight details, and actually execute a booking API call. We're moving from just passively generating text to actively engineering context and taking real-world actions. It's a real game changer.
Next up, Section 4, Autonomous AI Agents. We are moving way up the complexity ladder now, going from models that just answer questions to systems that literally run in the background and make decisions for you.
Enter AI agents. These are basically long-running processes on a server that query LLMs and external systems entirely autonomously. Picture a travel assistant running in the background. It's reading your email, checking airline APIs for that perfect window when flights are cheap, and automatically booking it based on your preferences. And it does all this without you having to click a single button.
But to make sure these systems make decisions we actually want, we use reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF. Think of it like hill climbing through vector space. The AI tries out different responses, and humans score the paths it took with a +1 or a -1. It is absolutely fascinating how human psychology maps onto this. Just like Pavlov's dog learning to expect food when a bell rings, the AI is mathematically conditioned to reinforce the reasoning paths that lead to positive human feedback.
For the really tough problems, we rely on a technique called chain of thought. We train the AI to explicitly break down complex deductions step by step before it just blurts out a final answer. By simply forcing the model to think step by step in your system prompt, the output quality absolutely skyrockets. And for the hardest problems, modern reasoning models will automatically generate massive invisible chains of thought to get to the right answer. We're also expanding way beyond just text now with multimodal models. By feeding an AI multiple modes of data, like say showing it thousands of images of cats right alongside the text token feline, the model develops a much deeper semantic understanding of what objects actually are in the real world. This lets us engineers build applications that can rapidly ingest, analyze, and even generate dynamic images and video.
Finally, Section 5, Optimizing for Production. Because building a cool AI feature is one thing, making it fast, cheap, and private to run at scale, that's the ultimate engineering challenge.
Look, massive large language models with hundreds of billions of parameters are incredible for sure, but they are expensive and super generalized. That's why we're seeing a massive shift towards small language models, or SLMs, which might only have 3 to 300 million parameters. These are incredibly lean, highly task-specific models, like a bot trained exclusively on your internal sales data. They keep your proprietary info totally private, and they run incredibly fast.
So the crucial point is, how do you make a small model actually smart? Engineers use a process called distillation. You take a massive, expensive teacher model and have it generate high-quality answers. Then, you force a tiny student model to mimic those exact outputs, tweaking its limited internal weights whenever it messes up. You're basically condensing the sprawling, massive knowledge of a giant neural network into a tiny, highly efficient package.
And once your model is perfectly trained, you apply quantization. This is a brilliant technique that compresses the mathematical weights in the network from heavy 32-bit numbers down to 8-bit numbers. The beauty of this? It can save you up to 75% of your memory costs during inference in production. Saving 75% on compute is a literal game changer for any engineering team. It makes your app dramatically cheaper and faster to run, without sacrificing much quality at all.
So, from tokens to vector databases, from RAG to distilled small language models, you now understand the true architecture of modern AI. It isn't magic anymore. It is an engineering toolkit. So with this new tech stack fully assembled and ready to deploy, what are you going to build next?